Welcome to episode 444 of AI Brief, everyone.
We have a really packed agenda for you today. We're looking at Google officially launching its Gemini-powered maps to the public was a big deal.
Huge deal. And then we're examining Microsoft taking this monumental step toward what they're calling medical superintelligence.
Right. Plus, we'll unpack that massive cybersecurity reality check at McKinsey, where a startup hacked their highly touted internal chatbot in, I think, under 2 hours.
Under 2 hours. Just crazy. After that, we'll navigate through a broader industry roundup and then cap it all off with the top trending productivity tools you can deploy right now.
So the overarching theme tying all these massive developments together today is that artificial intelligence is finally, it's leaving the chat box.
Yeah, we've spent years just typing text prompts into a blank window on a screen.
Exactly. But now, this technology is moving directly into the physical world. It's integrating into human biology and embedding itself deeply into the core operations of massive global enterprises.
The entire interface is changing, and the implications for how you interact with the world are just profound.
Right, and that jump from a text prompt to the physical world is perfectly illustrated by our first major update today.
Oh, for sure. Google has just launched a massive upgrade to Google Maps, injecting it with their Gemini model.
Which introduces 2 flagship features, right?
Yeah.
Ask Maps and immersive navigation.
Yep. So Ask Maps allows you to query the app conversationally to plan complex trips. And the system is pulling from over 300 million places and user reviews to generate these answers.
And then you have immersive navigation, which actually renders your route in 3D.
It's so cool. It gives you enhanced conversational voice guidance, previews that show you exactly where to park before you even arrive, and detailed trade-offs for alternative routes.
To put this in perspective, think about the historical leap from folding paper maps to the first digital GPS.
That was a completely revolutionary shift.
Right. And what Google is doing now is taking us from standard digital GPS to having basically a seasoned, hyperlocal tour guide sitting directly in your passenger seat.
Just constantly analyzing the environment for you. But how does this actually work mechanically? Like, how does a system instantly parse 300 million user reviews while you're literally driving?
So it represents a shift from keyword search to semantic understanding. In the past, if you searched for, say, a coffee shop with parking, a traditional database just looked for those specific words.
It was super rigid.
Exactly. But Gemini understands the semantic intent behind your request. It can cross-reference the geospatial data of a location with the natural language context found in millions of reviews.
Oh, wow. So it instantly deduces that a specific cafe has a hidden parking lot in the back, even if it's not explicitly tagged.
You got it. And immersive navigation takes that a step further into the visual realm. The model analyzes billions of individual street view and aerial images,
synthesizing them in real time.
Yeah, in real time to render exact buildings, overpasses, and crosswalks along your specific route.
That makes so much sense. So it's not just retrieving data, it's actively interpreting the physical landscape.
And the strategy here also reveals Google's most significant competitive advantage. I mean, every major tech company right now is racing to build the most capable foundational model.
But Google possesses this unique distribution mechanism.
Exactly. They do not have to convince you to download a new app to use their latest model. They're injecting it directly into platforms where billions of people already spend their time.
We're seeing this deploy across Gmail, Docs, Android, and now Maps. The true moat for Google is just frictionless distribution.
Right. When you ask your map a complex question and it calculates the answer instantly using 300 million data points, the underlying AI model becomes completely invisible.
You are just experiencing a vastly superior map. And that invisible integration is fascinating. It's actually exactly what Microsoft is attempting with our next update.
So they are transitioning from navigating the physical world to navigating the sheer complexity of human biology.
Which is a whole different ballgame. Microsoft has just debuted Copilot Health. This is an entirely new platform designed to synthesize your health records, your wearable data, and your medical history to provide deeply personalized insights.
It's pulling from a lot of sources, too. It connects to over 50 different wearable devices, integrates function lab results, and can pull electronic health records from over 50,000 hospitals across the U.S.
And Microsoft ensures that the advice provided is grounded in highly credible organizations like Harvard Health. Every single answer explicitly links back to its source literature.
Microsoft's CEO, Mustafa Suleyman, actually describes this trajectory as the pursuit of medical superintelligence.
Medical superintelligence, that's a heavy phrase.
It is, but the objective is to engineer a system that possesses the comprehensive, holistic breadth of a general physician, combined simultaneously with the ultra-specific, deep knowledge of a specialist.
Okay, hold on. Let me play devil's advocate here for a second. Microsoft claims they've established strict data parameters, right? They state personal health data connected to the platform is never used to train their models.
Right, and users have total control to disconnect or permanently delete their linked data.
But, I mean, given the tech industry's history with data collection, why should a patient or a hospital actually believe that? What is the technical guarantee?
Well, it comes down to enterprise-grade partitioning. Copilot Health sits within a highly secure, ring-fenced space inside the broader ecosystem.
So it's walled off.
Exactly. From a purely architectural standpoint, the data pipeline flowing in from your wearables or your hospital is technically isolated from the training pipeline used to update the foundational model.
So the value proposition for Microsoft isn't in scraping your individual heart rate to make their AI smarter.
No, the value is in selling the secure synthesis engine itself to healthcare providers and users.
And that synthesis engine is critical because, let's be real, medical data is notoriously fragmented. We generate oceans of biological data every day.
Heart rate variability, blood oxygen, sleep stages.
Exactly. But when we actually get our 15 minutes in a doctor's office, we can't possibly communicate all of that context. I actually need you to explain the electronic health record aspect. How does pulling an EHR actually change this dynamic?
So an electronic health record, or EHR, is basically the digital version of your traditional paper chart. It contains your medical history, diagnoses, medications, treatment plans.
All the vital stuff.
Yeah, right. But the problem is that a patient might have cardiovascular data on a fitness ring, blood panels at a private lab, and historical diagnostic records locked in a hospital's legacy database.
And a doctor cannot physically review 6 months of minute-by-minute Apple Watch data during a short consultation.
They just don't have the time.
Uh-huh.
So Copilot Health bridges the gap between continuous data collection and episodic human medical care.
It analyzes the patterns you generate over months and translates them into the specific medical vocabulary your doctor needs.
Exactly. It positions Microsoft as the ultimate medical translator.
Taking that ocean of daily biological data and translating it into a concise, actionable summary that maximizes those 15 minutes with a human specialist.
But trusting these systems with our daily physical routes and our most intimate biological data requires us to look very closely at how secure these enterprise AI systems actually are.
Which brings us to a massive wake-up call in the corporate world. A security startup called CodeWall successfully breached McKinsey's internal chatbot, known as Lizly, in under 2 hours.
And Lily is not a minor experiment. It's utilized by 70% of McKinsey's staff, roughly 45,000 people.
Just to handle chat, analysis, and search across over 100,000 internal documents.
CodeWall discovered exposed API documentation revealing 22 endpoints that required absolutely no authentication.
Which is wild. One of those endpoints granted full, plain-text read and write access to the underlying database. Before we talk about the fallout, explain the technical side. What exactly is an unauthenticated API endpoint?
Let's break down the mechanics. An API, or Application Programming Interface, is essentially the messenger that takes a request from a user, tells the database what to do, and then brings the response back.
Okay, so like a waiter.
Yes, think of the API as a waiter taking orders between the user sitting at the table and the database acting as the kitchen. An endpoint is a specific digital location where that waiter receives the order.
And authentication is the process of verifying identity, right?
Exactly. So an unauthenticated API endpoint means the waiter isn't checking if the person ordering has a VIP pass, employee credentials, or if they just walked in off the street. They're just handing over whatever data is asked for.
That's crazy. It's like building a billion-dollar bank vault.
Right.
You construct 3-foot-thick concrete walls. You install a massive steel door with biometric locks representing the advanced language model. But you leave the delivery entrance propped open with a brick.
That's a perfect way to put it. Hackers do not need to break the cryptographic math of the vault door if they can just walk through the alleyway and ask the waiter for the money.
What was the actual scale of this exposure?
The database contained 46.5 million messages discussing high-level corporate strategy, mergers and acquisitions, and sensitive client work.
Oh, wow.
It exposed 728,000 client files and 57,000 internal user accounts.
Now, to be clear, McKinsey was promptly informed of the vulnerability. They brought in a third-party forensic team, confirmed that no malicious actors had gained access prior to the discovery, and immediately patched the flaw.
But still, how does an elite firm with massive resources miss something that basic during deployment?
The rush to deployment often bypasses standard operational security. Companies are facing immense pressure from the executive level to empower their employees with advanced generative tools.
And in that rush, internal networks are frequently treated as safe zones. Engineering teams sometimes assume that because a tool is only accessible on the company intranet, they don't need to lock down every single internal API endpoint.
The reality check for the industry is that an internal network is never a fully safe zone. The foundational rules of access management and database encryption do not disappear just because the tool features a conversational interface.
Absolutely not.
So let's deliberately slow down the tempo here for a moment. Because when you look at the entire industry moving at such an aggressive velocity, jumping from consumer apps to enterprise deployments, you really have to force yourself to pause, step back, and carefully examine the broader patterns emerging across the landscape.
We are going to move through a synthesis of industry-wide maneuvers now. And as we do, it's important to notice a distinct thematic shift taking place.
We are observing a fundamental recalibration in what the market actually rewards.
Right. For the past 2 years, the focus has been entirely on generating text that sounds plausible. But now the industry is heavily pivoting toward strict, verifiable accuracy and actionable utility.
You can see this so clearly in Anthropic's latest move. They have just launched a new beta feature that allows their Claude model to generate interactive charts, diagrams, and complex visualizations directly inside the conversation interface.
The system now automatically determines when a visual representation would be more effective than just a paragraph of text.
It's generating interactive compound interest calculators, where you can actually adjust the sliders in real time, clickable periodic tables, and detailed structural engineering diagrams.
The output is no longer just words on a page. It is a functional, interactive tool built completely on demand.
And at the exact same time, Meta has reportedly delayed the release of its next major model, internally named Avocado, pushing it back until at least May.
The stated reason for that delay is that the model underperformed against competing frontier models in their internal evaluations.
Contrast that delay with what is happening over in the specialized sector. A startup named Axiom just announced a $200 million Series A funding round, achieving a valuation of over $1.6 billion.
And Axiom is entirely focused on formal mathematics and verified reasoning.
So why is the market rewarding formal math with a billion-dollar valuation while a generalist model gets delayed?
Well, it highlights the limitations of standard language models. Traditional models operate on next token prediction. They are essentially just guessing the most statistically likely next word.
Which is fantastic for writing an email, but it is fundamentally flawed for complex mathematics or rigid logic, where a single hallucinated digit destroys the entire equation.
Exactly. Axiom is building systems that can definitively prove their answers are correct using formal mathematical verification. The premium is now on absolute precision.
We are also seeing significant talent consolidation aimed at functional utility. The company XAI has just hired Andrew Milich and Jason Ginsberg.
These are senior product engineers who previously worked at Cursor, which is widely considered one of the most advanced AI coding environments available.
They have been brought on to rapidly accelerate the coding capabilities of the Grok model, and they are reporting directly to Elon Musk.
That signals a heavy investment in making Grok a premier tool for software engineering. Again, prioritizing highly technical, actionable output over general conversation.
We also have a significant update regarding government procurement. Emil Michael, the Chief Technology Officer for the Pentagon, recently stated there is no chance of renewing talks with Anthropic.
The stated reasoning is that integrating Claude would pollute the military supply chain with a different policy preference.
This is a strict business divergence, highlighting how foundational models are increasingly viewed not just as software, but as core infrastructure by large institutional buyers.
And the definition of how we interact with these systems is expanding beyond just asking questions. We are moving into the era of agentic behavior.
Perplexity has officially expanded its agentic system, simply called Computer, to its Pro subscribers.
This allows users to access a system capable of executing complex, multi-step tasks across the internet. It utilizes a credit-based system depending on the computational intensity of your request.
We are even seeing this agentic behavior filter into consumer social applications. The dating app Bumble has announced plans to introduce a generative assistant named Bee.
This system will operate privately to learn your specific conversational preferences and behavioral patterns, and then proactively suggest relevant matches based on that deep learned context.
It is acting on your behalf rather than just waiting for your input. Taking all of those high-level industry shifts, we can bring them directly down to the practical level.
The abstract advancements in reasoning and agentic behavior we just discussed are actively trickling down into tools you can leverage on your laptop right now.
Let's look at the top trending productivity tools making waves today. First up is Speakawala. This tool converts entire websites and heavy local documents into highly natural, human-sounding speech.
Which is incredibly useful. If you have a dense 50-page research paper you need to digest, you don't have to read it on a screen, you can convert it and listen to it like a high-quality audiobook during your morning commute.
Next is Figure. This is a product-aware system that actually designs user interfaces and builds the front-end code for you.
You just describe the application you want, and it generates the structural design and the deployable code simultaneously.
So fast. We also have Upsolve, which allows users to develop custom data agents in a single day and deploy them instantly across any platform.
If your company needs a specialized agent to analyze daily sales metrics, cross-reference them with inventory, and report anomalies, Upsolve allows you to build and launch that workflow without needing to hire a dedicated engineering team.
For creative workflows, there is Voy. This is an all-in-one audio application that allows you to script, generate synthetic voices, arrange multi-track audio, master the final sound profile, and export it all from a single unified dashboard.
You also have Perplexity's personal computer agent, which we mentioned earlier, but it's currently highly optimized specifically for Mac Mini setups.
It essentially turns that specific hardware into a dedicated autonomous research assistant running in the background.
We already touched on Claude by Anthropic, but its new interactive diagram capability instantly turns it into a powerful data visualization tool for anyone working with complex statistics.
Finally, OpenAI's Codex, their dedicated coding assistant, has been supercharged with entirely new automation pipelines and customizable developer themes, making the process of writing software even faster.
When you look at this list comprehensively, it represents an incredible shift in individual capability.
You essentially have an entire outsourced, creative, analytical, and engineering department available on a single laptop.
That brings us to a final concept to mull over as you navigate your week. We started by discussing how artificial intelligence is leaving the chat box.
As this technology quietly integrates into the background of Google Maps calculating your commute, into the secure synthesis of your health records via Copilot, and even into the matchmaking algorithms of apps like Bumble, the actual user interface of the technology is completely disappearing.
The future of this technology is not a text window you log into. It is becoming an invisible, ambient layer of intelligence operating the physical and digital world around you, anticipating your needs before you ever have to type a single word.
It's a profound shift from a digital tool you use to an intelligent environment you inhabit.
It really is.
That wraps up our analysis for today. I strongly encourage you to follow the show on your preferred platform to ensure you stay ahead of the curve as this landscape continues to shift rapidly beneath our feet.
If you found this breakdown valuable, share this deep dive with a colleague or a friend who needs a rigorous, fast-paced shortcut to staying exceptionally well-informed.
Thank you for spending your time with us, and we will see you